Hey guys, it's Julia. In today's video I will be giving you some recommendations of the books that you probably should read in 2021, because I have been watching some videos recently of people doing all the books I read in 2020, or here's the best books that I read in 2020, and I was like, I didn't read very many books in 2020, so I made it one of my New Year's resolutions to read more books, because I think GCSEs for some reason kind of killed my love of reading for pleasure. So we're going to try and remedy that and read some books. So these are the ones that I found. A lot of them are like the classics of books that you should read. So those are probably going to be the first that I'm going to read eventually. And I also have some other books that I found from different YouTubers, different recommendations, my mum. So let's get right on with the video. The first one is Anne Frank's diary. This is probably a really good one to read to educate yourself on stuff that the Nazis did in World War II, and to read a first-hand account of someone living through that time, to educate yourself on history. Emma by Jane Austen. I've read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen as part of my GCSE English course. That was very good, so apparently Emma's very good as well. The Eagle of the Ninth, which I'm pretty sure my mum has sitting on a bookshelf somewhere. That is basically about the Legion of the Ninth and the story behind that. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, which is what John Steinbeck also wrote of Mice and Men, which I also studied for my GCSE English course, and it's meant to be also a very good book. Obviously it's John Steinbeck, so it's pretty good. The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This is, again, a classic that I should have probably read back over GCSEs, but I didn't. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I'm pretty sure I read the first chapter of this, but again, I need to read the whole thing because I think it's about racial injustices. But again, I need to actually read the whole book to actually find out what it's about. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Again, a classic. I definitely have it sitting somewhere on a bookshelf. 1984 by George Orwell. George Orwell also wrote Animal Farm, which I have in fact read as part of my GCSE English course. I'm not sure whether it's just me, but I have had at least 2 English past papers for GCSE that included the first chapter of this book, because they seem to really like the first chapter of this book. Because it's like, the clock struck 13. So again, bit of a funky first chapter. They like using it in English past papers. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Again, I should have read this. I haven't. I don't know why. I obviously know the characters in it, so like Peter Pan and Wendy and Captain Hook, but I haven't read the book, weirdly. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I went and watched The Mousetrap, which has now been made into a West End play, and it's written by Agatha Christie, who is a very talented author. I've also watched the film of Murder on the Orient Express as well, and that was very good, very entertaining. And the last, classic book that I have on this list is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. I have read, the Usborne abridged children's version with beautiful pictures in it, but I haven't actually read the full version, as in I've read lots of Charles Dickens books, but they've been abridged, so I haven't actually read the actual English that he wrote in the original book. Now, I thought I'd include 2 other books that I thought were worth mentioning as 2 books that I've kind of recently been introduced to, and I have actually bought one of them, and that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I bought this off Amazon for £4.50 rather than £9, which I couldn't resist, and I've heard lots of good things about this book. It is apparently, it's been made into a BBC programme for starters, and apparently it's a 1 million copy bestseller, so there's lots of people that have recommended this book. And the other one is Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is another one of those self-help books kind of thing, but apparently it is actually got some information in it, even if it does stretch it out a little bit. So I just thought that I'd jump in quickly and say that the book that I'm reading currently is A Study in Scarlet and Sign of Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is a Sherlock Holmes book, because my mum got me a full collection of all the books of Sherlock Holmes for Christmas. So this is the first one. I'm trying to read them in chronological order so that they make more sense, and so far I've remembered why I love Sherlock Holmes so much. So these are just other books that are also very good books, and I recommend that you read them. I'm trying to read them all, but there are quite a lot of books. So the first one is At the Back of the North Wind. I'll put the author and the book front cover here. The Railway Children, again, I'll put them here. The Box of Delights by John Mansfield. I have a copy here which is illustrated by Quentin Blake, so it has some lovely pictures in it. That was actually recommended to me by my English teacher, so I went and picked it up. The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, which is the 6th book in the Chronicles of Narnia series, which looks a bit like this, one of the covers, which is the one I have. And The 13 Clocks, which I will also put the book title and author here. The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. This Side of Paradise, which is also by F. Scott Fitzgerald, again another one of his brilliant books. And also Down and Out in Paris and London, which is written by George Orwell, which I think is a narration of his life as he lived in Paris and London briefly. A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And just to quickly say, I got a lot of these recommendations from Jack Edwards' video on the books that he read in 2020, so I will link that down below if you want to go and watch that as well, because that is a very informative video. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackay, which is apparently a very heartfelt book. Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. I hope I said that right again, and I didn't butcher it. I believe that this book has won many awards as of last year or 2 years ago, so well worth a read. Love is a Mixtape by Rolf Sheffield. I picked this up off of Jack Edwards' video because he said that music lovers would love this book. Hence me being a music lover, I'm definitely going to be reading this book. The Theory of Everything by Stephen Hawking. Obviously, brilliant guy. I do physics as an A-level, so hopefully, I nearly said I'd hopefully understand some of it, but he's doing degree level physics, and the theories of black holes and so on, so I probably won't understand a lot of it despite doing a physics A-level. And the last book that I have on my list is The Windrush Betrayal by Amelia Gentleman, which I believe is an interesting story about, obviously, the Windrush generation in Britain and how they were brought here completely legally because we needed more people in our workforce, and they lived here for decades and decades, and then suddenly someone in the government decided that they should go again, despite having lived here for decades and being brought here because we wanted them to come here, and then suddenly we didn't want them, so that's obviously a big scandal currently in current British politics. So yes, I hope you enjoyed my book recommendations. I will be trying to read as many of those as I can, and over the year of 2021, I hope you all have some good reading. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!